In this video, we're going through the Edexcel May 2019 Paper 1 Foundation tier. So, I'll go through each question once, and then I'll create a similar question which you can do to test your understanding of the maths. So for the first question, write 180 minutes in hours. So, firstly, just going to get the pen up, and then so 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. That means when we have hours, to get into minutes, we have to times by 60. And then to go from minutes into hours, we have to divide by 60. And the question gives us 180 minutes. So to get into hours, we know that we're on the right now. So to get round to the left, we have to divide by 60. So what we're going to do is 180 divided by 60. And now the easiest way of doing this is to go through our 60 times tables and work out what 180 is as a factor of 60. So 60. 120 is 2 times 60, and 3 times 60 is 180. So that's what we were looking for, 180. So now we know that 180 divided by 60 is equal to 3. So the final answer is 3 hours. Now, for another example of this type of question, let's say the question was 240 minutes in hours. This time, we're again in minutes, and so we want to divide by 60 to work out what it is in hours. So 240, if we look at our 60 times tables, we've got 60, 120 is 2 times 60, 180 is 3 times 60. Now add on another one, 240 is 4 times 60. So 240 minutes is equal to 4 hours. So that's just another little example there in that box. That's not part of the question, but that's just another little thing to kind of check your understanding. Right, so now moving on to question 2. Write 0.73 as a percentage. Feel free to pause and give this a go, or I'll jump right into it. So again, we're sort of going between two different types here. So I'll write percentage on the left, and then I'll write decimal on the right. So we want to find a percentage, and we've got a decimal. So we're starting on the right here, and we're trying to get to the left. So to get from decimal to percentage, we have to shift left by 2. So I'm just going to write shift left 2. So I'm just going to draw 0.73 up here. And now a really helpful hint here is we can write some zeros here, as many as we want. So I'm just going to write a couple here. And this just helps us work out our place values, because then we can count along and work out how many times we need to go along. So if we look down here, we've got the decimal, 0.73 is a decimal, and so to get to the percentage, shift left 2. So take the 7, 1, 2. So it goes into this column here. Now the 3 moves on to the 7, and then again for the second time onto this one. So if we draw this out again, but having shifted these two, we get 0, 7, 3, and don't forget the decimal place is very important here, so don't forget to miss it out. Don't forget to put it in, don't miss it out, that you wouldn't want to do that. So 0, 7, 3, then the decimal place, and now a 0 where this 7 was, a 0 where this 3 was, and then these two last zeros. Now we've got 73.000. Now we can just get rid of all of these zeros after the decimal place. They were just here to help us do our workings. And we can also get rid of this one. Now we're left with 73. So that's our final answer, 73%. So now I'm going to do another example of this type of question. Feel free to pause it once I've given it to you and give it a go. So write 0 0.8 as a percentage. So again, 0.8 is a decimal, so we want to shift left by 2 to work out what it is as a percentage. So again, we're going to add some zeros in to help us just sort of give us a bit of a buffer to work out where we're going. So this time we're going 1, 2, and so decimal places here, we're going 1, 2. So we've got 0, 8, and it's very important we include this 0. So all we've done is we've moved it across twice, replaced this 0 with an 8, all the other zeros stay where they are. And then this 8 here, because we've moved it, we're now going to put a 0 there. And again, similar to last time, now that we've done our calculation, we can just get rid of these zeros here and this 0 here, and we're left with 80%. So 0.8 is 80%. So that's how to do that question. Right. So if we move on to number 3 now, this is an order of operations question. What we're looking at here is we need to work out what's the correct order to do these in. For this, we're going to use bid mass, which is B, I, D, M, A, S. Well, hey, that was a bit exciting. So this stands for brackets, like this. Indices, so that could be something like 2 squared. That we haven't got anything like that here. Brackets, we have got some brackets around this 3 and 5, so that gets a tick. Division, that's a division symbol like that, or perhaps like that. We haven't got anything like that, so that gets a cross. Multiplication, we've got a times, so that gets a tick. Addition, plus sign, yes, we have got a plus sign, so that gets another tick, and then a minus. We haven't got any minus going on in here, so that gets a cross. So we're only interested in brackets, multiplication, and addition. So brackets is first, so we look inside the brackets. We've got 3 plus 5. This is equal to 8, so the brackets part is equal to 8. So if we rewrite our equation, we have 10 times, and now because we've worked out this bracket here, is equal to 8, we can just replace all of that with an 8. Now we've only got one operator left, this multiplication, so that's the only thing we can do, and that's what we do to finish off. 10 times 8 is equal to 80. And that is our final answer. So, another little example, if you wanted to test your understanding. So, let's just have a little look. What we're going to do is, we're going to have a look at, we're going to have a look at 8 divided by 4 minus 2. So if we go back to our bid mass here, we have brackets again, tick. Do we have indices? Do we have anything to the power of something else? No, we don't, so we can safely ignore that. Division. This time we have got a division here, so we're going to give that a little tick. Now, multiplication. Have we got any multiplies anywhere? No, we don't, so we're just going to get rid of that. Addition. Have we got any add signs? No, no add signs here, so that gets across. And lastly, subtraction. We do have a subtract sign. We've got 4 minus 2, so that gets a little tick. Again, we're going to do brackets first, because that's the first one in our list of 3. So we look at the brackets, we have 4 minus 2, and this is equal to 2. So we can replace this whole bracket bit here with 2. So we have 8 divided by 2, and this is equal to 4. We can double check that if we think, what's 2 times 4? 2 times 4, well, 1 times 4 is 4, and then 2 times 4 is 8. So this is equal to 8. So we're just checking our answer here, and we're happy that 8 divided by 2 is equal to 4. So that'll be our final answer for this one. I'll just again put just a little box around that, because that's our other example. Right. Moving on to question 4. Write down a prime number that is between 20 and 30. So what I'm going to do here is write down all the numbers between 20 and 30. So 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. Now, a prime number is a number that is only in the 1 times tables and its own times tables. So, if we think of easy things that we can get rid of, all these even numbers, they're all going to be in the 2 times tables. So, for example, 22 is equal to 2 times 11. So, we can get rid of 22 straight away. 24 is 2 times 12. So, we can again get rid of 24. Moving on to 26, 2 times 13 is 26. So, we can get rid of that. 28 is 2 times 14. Get rid of that. So, that's a very good start. Already got rid of half of our numbers. So, moving on, let's try 3s. Do we think any of these numbers are divisible by 3? So, if we check our 3 times tables, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21. So, 21 is divisible by 3, and it's 3 times 7. So, cross through that. Next up we have 24. Well, we've already got rid of that, so we can just ignore it. Then 3 times 9 is 27. So, get rid of that. Right. Next up, 4. Anything that's a multiple of 4 is going to be even. So, for example, 24 is 4 times 6, but we've already got rid of that. So we can ignore the 4 times tables because that's not very helpful here. Next up, 5. So 25, 5 times 5. So we're going to get rid of that one. So now if we have a look, the only 2 we have left are 23 and 29. To check that, say, 23 is prime, if we've checked 3 and we've checked, 2, 3, 4 and 5. If we continue like this, 6 is not divisible, does not divide into 23, down to 7, 8, 9. We can continue like this all the way up to 22. And as 23 is not in any of the times tables between 2 and 22, that means that 23 is prime. And so we've found an answer. Likewise, you can also do the same for 29. If you go through all of the times tables between 2 and 28, none of them will include 29. So the only times tables that 29 appears in is 1 and 29. So 29 is also prime. If we look at the numbers below 10, this is more less of a question, more just thinking about if we look at the numbers between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Which ones do we reckon are prime? So if we start at 1, the rule for a prime number is it's in the 1's times tables, but it's also in its own times tables. So 1's a bit of a special case here, because 1, the only stuff that you can multiply together to get 1 is 1 times 1. And so this isn't actually a prime number because it's only in the 1's times tables. However, 2, we have 1 times 2. So 2 is prime. So I'll just write P is 2. Now moving on to 3. Is 3 divisible by 2? No. So 3 is also prime. Now 4. 4 is equal to 2 times 2. So 4 is not prime. Now 5. Is 5 divisible by any of these 3? Is it even? No. So it can't be divisible by 2. Is it divisible by 3? No. 3 plus 3 is 6. And so 5 can't be divisible by 3. Is it divisible by 4? Again, no. 5 is not divisible. So 5 is also prime. Now 6. 6 is 2 times 3. So 6 is not prime. 7 is again similar to 5. It's not divisible by 2 because it's odd. It's not divisible by 3. It's not divisible by 4. It's not divisible by 5 or 6. So 7 is also prime. Then 8 is 2 times 4. 9 is a square number, so we know that 9 is equal to 3 times 3, so 9 is not prime. It's funny, it's one of those ones that I've always thought looked prime, but 3 times 3, so it can't be prime. And then finally 10 is 2 times 5. So these are all the numbers that are prime, that are less than 10. That might be something helpful to try and remember, because then it will make your life a lot easier when you've got to remember what prime numbers there are. So next up we have number 5. Find the number that is exactly halfway between 7 and 15. So there's quite an easy way of doing this. If we write out 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, just write them all out. Now if we count in from the sides, the numbers that's going to be in the middle of 7 and 15 should be in the middle here somewhere. So get rid of 7 and 15. Always make sure we're getting rid of them in pairs. So we've got rid of 7 and 15. Now we're going to get rid of 8 and 14. And we're going to get rid of 9 and 13. Remember, always in pairs. Then 10 and 12. The only number left is 11. And so we know that 11 is midway between 7 and 15. And if we wanted to check, well, 11, there's a gap of 4 here, plus 4. And then the gap here is also 4 plus 4. So we know that 11 is indeed in the middle of 7 and 15. So another little example, we're going to look at what's in the middle of 42 and 48. These are quite a lot bigger, so you'd have thought it'd be more challenging. But if we do the exact same method we've just done, I'm going to write out the numbers 42 up to 48. So 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, and 48. So again, let's pair them off. Get rid of the ones on the outside first. So 42, 48, 43, 47, 44, 46. We're left with 45. So we know that 45 is in the middle of 42 and 48. So that's the second example done for this question. So last up for this video, we're going to have a look at question 6. Harry is planning a holiday for 4 people for 7 days. Here are the costs for the holiday for each person. Note each person is in bold, so that's a very important part of the question. So we have travel is 150, hotel is £50 for each day, and spending money £250. Work out the total cost of the holiday for 4 people for 7 days. So the way I like to do these type of questions is work out how much it costs for one person first. It's easier if we break it down into little pieces. So we'll look at one person. So cost for one person. So we've got a nice list here of everything we need to work out. So travel is just 150. Now the hotel is £50 for each day, and we're going for 7 days. So it's 50 times 7. Now, if we look at our 7 times table, if we look at our 50 times tables, we have 50, 100, 150, 200, 250, 300, 350. There we go. So if we just count up on our fingers, we get to 350 is equal to 50 times 7. Don't forget the pound sign there. That's always a good piece of advice. Remember your units. So, and now lastly, spending money, £250. So now we need to add this up. I love a bit of column addition. So 150, 350, 250. So line underneath. So this column here, all zeros. So we have a 0 there. This column, 5 plus 5 is 10, plus number 5 is 15. So we have a 5 here, and then we carry a 1. So now we have 1, 2, 5, 6, 7. So £750. And remember, this is £750 is for one person only. So now we need to work out the cost for 4 people. So we do 4 times 750. Now my favourite way to work out a bit harder multiplication like this is called the grid method. So we write the 4 in the left hand column, and then we split up the 750 over the top so that we only have one number in each column with the rest zeros to make sure we fill it in properly. So 4 times 700. Again, our 700 times tables. 700 1,400, 2,100, 2,800. So we get 2,800. I'm just going to add the pound signs in. Now 4 times £50, so £50, £100, £150, £200. So there we go, £200. Right, now that's the answer. We just need to add these two together and then we've got it. So 2800, 200. So 0, 0, 8 plus 2 is 10, so a 0 here, carry a 1, so 3. So our final answer is 3,000. Right, so that's our final answer for this question. And we're now going to do another example, just so you've got another example to work with. I'll just put box. So, this time, Lara is also planning a holiday. And it just so happens she's going to the same place as Harry. So it all costs the same amount. The only difference is Lara is going to be going with 3 people for 10 days. So Lara is taking 3 people for 10 days with all of the same costs here. Feel free to try and work this out and then play the video again once you've had a crack. So again, the cost for one person. So doesn't matter how long we go for, the travel is still £150, so 150. Now hotel is £50 for each day, and they're going for 10 days, so 50 times 10, and that is equal to 500. Lastly, spending money, got to be able to buy some nice souvenirs, so £250. So now we just need to add this up. 150, 500, 250. So 0, because this column adds up to 0. Now 5 plus 5 is 10, so we get a 0 here, and then we carry a 1. So 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 5 is 7, plus another 2 is 9. So 900. Now remember this is the cost for one person. And Lara's booking for 3 people, so we need to do 3 times 900. Fortunately, 3 is quite small, so we can work this out using our times table. So 1 times 900 is 900, then 1800, and then 2700. So this is equal to 2700, and that's our final answer for this little side example here. Right, so that's going to be the end of the video for this one, but look out for part 2 where I'll continue going with this past paper. Thanks.